When should you, as the buyer, reach out to a realtor? Hi, my name is Chris. I'm from Homes in 719. In this video, I put this together after a recent experience I had with a seller and a buyer. Um, Made me realize that maybe a video like this would help. Consumers typically believe that they need to wait till the last second to reach out to a realtor, and why? Because realtors are jerks, and we harass people a lot. It's kind of the name of the business, but not in that business. It's not, I promise you. So, um, but there's more reasons to reach out to a realtor than just trying to not get harassed. All right. So the recent experience my seller buyer had was that they reached out to me to go look at a condo, and they wanted to sell the condo that they lived in with me and also buy a new one. The first call I ever got from them was, Chris, we want to go look at a condo. And that's a touchy situation for a realtor to be in. The state of Colorado has some guidelines and things that we have to do before we can advise you on the things about things. So when we get a out of the blue call, we try to manage it as best we can, but it's usually creates a lot of friction with the buyer because the buyer wants to go look at a condo, man. We got the perfect condo. We want to go look at it. They don't want to sit down and talk about forms and contracts. Oh, wait, there's 5 of them. So, you know what? The sooner you reach out to a realtor, the sooner we can go through the process that the state of Colorado requires us to do to properly bring you on into our brokerage and legally advise you. So one of the things that most people don't know is that realtors are practicing real estate law. To be clear, we're not attorneys. We can't do everything, but we can do and are allowed by the state of Colorado to work and perform duties within a very confined box as it relates to real estate law. And as part of that, the state of Colorado dictates to us things that I believe are value added, actually. So we need to talk to you and advise you as to what kind of realtor we can be. There's different variations. There's the standard agent, which most consumers pick. Then there's a transaction coordinator, which comes up rarely. And then there's also having me representing you as a customer. We need to go through those. I need to advise you of these things before you tell me any confidential information. Now, if we go look at a house, what do you think the chances are that you're going to tell me things like why you want to buy, how much money you got, if you have money, if you don't have money, what your timeline looks like? All of that is confidential information to you, and these forms need to be signed before you tell me that. So the reason for that is I want to try to explain this in a way, and I hope you can follow me through it. Pretend for a moment that there's 2 attorneys, right? And you go talk to an attorney and you tell him your whole story, but you don't hire him as your attorney. And then you hire another attorney, and a few months down the road, you show up in a court case, and the guy you told everything to is on the opposing side. Not good. All right. Because there was no document signed, there's a potential for that attorney to use that information that you told them against you. All right. Realtors are and could be the same thing, and the state of Colorado does not want that to happen. So they want us to advise consumers early, like first meeting, and get them to sign one of 2 documents. One is you're hiring us as your agent, or you're hiring us either as an agent, a transaction broker, or a consumer or a customer, or just the one that says, hey, we had the conversation. So we need to do that before we can get too far into the weeds. Sometimes I will show you a house. If you call me out of the blue, I will tell you, please don't tell me any confidential information until we have time to talk about contracts. So we can get through that before you tell me stuff you shouldn't tell me. But that's the biggest reason why realtors want you to reach out and why we want you to sign stuff. Now, I get it. You don't want us to have your contact information. You don't want us to harass you. And you're taking a big risk, which most consumers get burned on, that the realtor is going to leave them alone, right? And not harass them. Here at Homes and 719, I really try not to harass people. In fact, I don't call people hardly ever unless you've called me and I need to call you about something that's more time sensitive. We try to use the phone calls last resort, email, text first, because most of the time the stuff in our world is not time sensitive, in my opinion. And we don't need to call you while you're at work. We surely don't need to call you at work when we don't know you. So, you can rest assured that if you reach out to us, we're going to get some contact information from you. We are going to reach out to you from time to time to make sure you're good, make sure you're getting the advice you need at the time you need it. So the more we know, the sooner we know it, the better we can align our goals with your needs and make sure that we're not harassing you or sending you information you don't need. Additionally, if we have the proper amount of time, we get to go through about 5 contracts before we show you any house. The state of Colorado requires one of those 2, right? But there's some other ones that we need to go through and get some clarity on. I also like to show the people that I'm working with an offer, also known as a contract to buy sell, before you need to submit one. That document is approximately 20 pages long, written by the state of Colorado. And I don't want the first time you see that document to be the one when you're writing an offer on a property. I desperately don't want that to be the case. You need the time. These are legal documents that you're going to be held accountable to. You need to have the opportunity to read them, think about them. You and I need some time to go through them together so I can properly advise you before you sign them and we submit an offer. All right. There's things that we can do in that contract to buy sell that helps you or hurts you. If we don't have that dialed in when we submit the offer, you're probably going to lose. So I don't want you to have to see that thing the day that you need to submit an offer, maybe even an hour before we need to submit an offer due to some time constraint that we have. That's not good legal advice, man. That's terrible. You need to have the time to read it, understand it, ask questions, then sign it. And for that reason, we always like to show you an offer early before you actually see one, before you go see a house. So that if you go in that house and you want to make an offer, when we go back and draft it for you, you've seen it before. You understand how the form works. You were focused on learning about the form the first time. The second time, you can focus on the strategy being utilized on the form. And when you see it the first time, there's no emotion. The second time, there's lots of emotion. You want to buy this house. Your hopes and dreams are on this thing. And you should have ample time to understand what we're doing, because when we're writing the actual offer, it comes quick. Lots going on. We're talking about a lot of things. And if we're talking about a lot of things and you don't understand the form, your stress level is going to go through the roof. I promise you. So especially if you're a very stressful person to begin with. So, we need the time to do this properly with you so that all the stakeholders can be properly educated and informed and make wise decisions for your family. That is the reason that I desperately want you to reach out sooner rather than later, so we can get the cart and the horse in the right order and make sure you're fully prepared. A side note to that, if you haven't talked to a lender, it's fine. You don't have to talk to a lender first. If you did, that's fine too. We can work through that, but we need to understand where you are in the journey so that we can properly advise you to get from wherever that is. We've got to clean up some stuff before we start looking at houses. We have the time to do that and get everything in order so that we can make an offer quick on the house that you want. I promise you, if you look at houses long enough without talking to an agent, you're going to find the house that you want, and you're going to have to get through all of this anyway. So don't put all of this in front of your offer and possibly lose the house because we couldn't get through the stuff. Or worse, we get through the stuff, you don't understand any of the things that we went through, and you signed it anyway. Please don't do that. So, if you're on the journey, thinking about buying a house, please reach out to Homes in 719 so we can start understanding where you're at and get everything going in the correct direction for you. And, take some of the stress and questions out of this process. It shouldn't be stressful, shouldn't be overly exciting. Excitement in real estate is always bad, in my opinion. So, yeah, reach out. We'd love to talk to you and get the cart rolling. Thank you for watching. There's a whole bunch more stuff on here for buyers and sellers on my YouTube channel. Check out my website for some searches and some other tools. And, if you don't find what you're looking for, ask me. Maybe I can make that video. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys wish you the best in your journey, and bye.